Well, the Premier League is definitely back, and it definitely came back with a bang for Liverpool. Liverpool versus Leeds, 4-3 to Liverpool. I said in my preview, that Leeds were going to cause problems for teams up and down the league, and they've done well with themselves already. Now, we helped them out a little bit in some respects as well, but the fact that we walk out of there with 3 points, with Salah looking like he's on fire and ready for this season, and everybody else looking okay, looking all right. But there are some concerns. There are definitely some concerns, for sure. Obviously, Mohamed Salah he scored 2 penalties and one absolute firecracker as well. What a shot his second goal was. Really beautiful. I think that set us on the way for 3-2 at that point as well. Virgil van Dijk powers a header in and then just lets Bamford just have the ball at one point as well. Uncharacteristic mistakes by Virgil van Dijk. A lot of people are calling him arrogant for the way that he was carrying himself a lot on the pitch. And he had made a mistake similar to that against Arsenal near the end of last season as well. I think it was Lacazette that got on the end of that one at that time. Hopefully this isn't something that's creeping into the game of our back four, because Joe Gomez didn't cover himself in glory either. Probably Robertson was probably the best defensively out of our back four as well. I'm not entirely sure there's a great deal that Alisson could have done about the goals, having watched them back as well. I think the defence have got to do so much better, and I still think this is why I would call heavily for the 4-2-3-1, because I didn't feel that we were in a 4-2-3-1 at all, not in the slightest. So it's just weird. Like we do the 4-2-3-1 in pre-season, and then we go back to the 4-3-3. I feel the 4-2-3-1 would have helped us a lot against a team like Leeds, and I hope that we can go back to it, but we'll have to see what happens. In terms of, how do I feel about the result? Listen, I'm going to give Liverpool a little bit of leeway. We had a couple of guys in our team that were away on internationals over the past week. Gini Wijnaldum, Virgil van Dijk, Trent was away on internationals as well. It's one of those things. Internationals come round, it puts a lot of... I don't know, I still don't understand why they put the internationals on before the start of the season. Maybe they were already scheduled in and they had to be played, all that sort of business, most likely. It didn't really, I don't know. It felt a little bit disjointed at times. In attack, we looked really good. We looked really positive. If I just go into the stats of it, yeah, we lost out on possession 48 to 52%, but we had loads and loads of shots, 22 shots, 6 shots on target. We basically bossed every single stat apart from possession and passing by a little bit. But that is literally Leeds' style as well, Leeds' way of playing, and they're very, very good at it as well. But we took our goals well, got 2 penalties. Virgil van Dijk had another goal that was ruled out, which I don't think should have been ruled out. People are saying it's Curtis Jones has tripped up the player, which is why it got ruled out. But I don't think it really impeded on the play, in my opinion, anyway. They also had a goal that was ruled out as well. So this could have been like a 5-4 game. It really could have been. Or even a little bit closer. But we've got to talk about Leeds. Leeds were very, very good. Leeds were really, really good. Like, they literally came into this league, into that game against the champions of England, and they played exactly how they wanted to play. They were probably unfortunate, just mistakes by new signings that gave away both penalties. But they were probably unfortunate to come away with that. They were unfortunate to come away with nothing. We were fortunate to come away with the victory, in my opinion. We played well. We played poorly in some areas as well. There's lots of improvement that needs to happen. I've since seen, obviously, like Match of the Day and stuff like that, and seeing the lines of division between our back line, and that is something that needs to improve drastically as well. Something that used to be, very, very well drilled. It was a straight line, and the defence basically just moved all as one organism. But yesterday, it was like one's up here, back here, diagonal, Trent's over here. it's the back line is the most concerning thing. Everywhere else is all right, if not good to like okay to good, if not like pretty good. Obviously, Salah was very very good as well. Firmino had a quiet game, but he did create a couple of chances here or there, put himself in some dangerous areas. Mane played well without actually scoring. In the midfield, I felt that Henderson coming back in, he did well. Covered it, I think he did really well. Wijnaldum did okay. Naby Keita was a little bit quiet. But you walk away with the 3 points, you get the season started, that's fine. I think next up we've got... I don't actually know who we've got next. Let me just have a look. I think we've got Chelsea coming up next. I think. I'm not sure. I'll need to look and do a preview and stuff like that on it anyway. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done on that defence. There's no doubting that Virgil van Dijk is still the best defender on the planet right now. But little mistakes have creeped in. The back line isn't as... I don't know. It's not as solid as it used to be. And sometimes it takes a little bit of work. Like, I remember I think it took a little bit of time to get going last season as well. While we were winning games, we couldn't keep a clean sheet. That's all. People would blame Adrian for it, but it's not. It's all well and good having, such a high line, but that high line has to be controlled. It can't have people out of position, like a diagonal line for your back line. It needs to be much more organised, and that's what needs to return. I feel that maybe Fabinho not being on the pitch to start with could have had something to do with it as well, because he is very, very good at, if he needs to, he will drop back. And that's maybe something that we need to look at as well. This is why I champion the 4-2-3-1. I think that it could do us so much good in terms of going forward, but also, defensively as well. Because this is going to be one of the toughest seasons that I've seen in a long time. You've seen so many teams that are so strong. I'm literally currently like Everton and Tottenham are on at the moment. Both those teams have strengthened very, very well. There's teams up and down the league that have strengthened really, really well. The promoted teams, they might take a little bit of time to get going. Leeds are obviously the most dangerous one that have come up. Obviously, they won the championship. But I think that it's going to be one of the most dangerous, one of the most difficult seasons that for anybody, not just Liverpool, but for anybody. And everybody's strengthened really well. Everybody will be wanting to kick on and play really well as well, obviously. I don't know, it's just not going to be as, not going to get necessarily the time that you would normally get to sort of like get things running, get things going, get things, warmed up and such like that. Things have to be top level straight away. And I feel the 4-2-3-1 would be the way for us to go, in my opinion, anyway. Because you get to utilise the likes of Henderson, Wijnaldum, Fabinho. Maybe it takes a little bit of Henderson's strengths away, depending on how you play the 4-2-3-1. I'm not sure. Maybe that's why we'll probably end up sticking with the 4-3-3. But the 4-3-3, we've played it for nearly 3 seasons now. It's predictable. As good as our players are and the coaching and the system itself is, it can become predictable. And Leeds will have opened a lot, if not every single team up and down the league's eyes of we can get at these guys, and now we can find our way of doing it. Leeds have got their way. Leeds played brilliantly. Leeds did play brilliantly. Mistakes is what cost them that game. Leeds will do well. Leeds will do really well. They play very, very nice football, very good attacking football, getting the ball back, fighting for the ball back as well. And just the way that they move the ball is just really, really lovely to watch. It really is. And if that's not Liverpool versus Leeds yesterday, I'm looking for Leeds to win, because they played such a brilliant brand of football. It was great to see. It was fantastic to see. But I'm glad that Liverpool won. I sent out a tweet saying that it was the performance of champions, the champions of the Premier League and the champions of the Championship. And it was a fantastic game, probably the most entertaining game, even for a neutral, the most entertaining game of the weekend, bar none. 4-3 on the opening day. of the season. It's great to come out with the win. But this is a Liverpool team that also could look like need a reinforcement of some type. Needs something. Something needs to come in. We can't. I don't personally feel we can go into the rest of the season with the exact same team. Obviously with Tsimikas, but when he comes back, when he's come back from illness, I feel that we'll see so much more from Minamino. But it needs a bit more reinforcement, in my opinion, somewhere. Whether it means we've got centre-back defensive cover or something like that, or whatever's happening. Sorry, it's just my battery's going on my phone. Or someone in the front line. The fact that Ryan Brewster wasn't even on the bench yesterday, I'm concerned about that because I really, really, really don't want Brewster to leave Liverpool. But we're going to cover all of that sort of stuff as this week goes on anyway. I'm going to cut this one right here, right now, and finish off watching the Tottenham versus Everton game as well. But let me know what your thoughts were in the comments below. The positive is we won the game. There are negatives as well, and the negatives will be the things that we're going to pick at over this week. I'm going to make some other videos about what those negatives are. Mainly going to be defensive focused, I think. We don't always focus on the likes of Van Dijk because they're so good, but I think we need to at this moment in time. Just a little bit nonchalant sometimes. He's very, very good. He is the world's best defender. But just, I want to focus on those sorts of things as well. So let me know what your thoughts were in the comments below. It's great for the Premier League to be back. Hopefully we can continue, improve and get much better, and we're not having our hearts in our mouths every single game this season. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you once again, and I'll catch you later.